your executives, your project managers, your members of finance and accounting, your time and expense users, all these people are a mobile workforce. And with a mobile workforce, we need to empower them with analytics and dashboards that they can get on their tablets and on their phones so they can stay connected to the business without actually having to be in the office. Tableau does that for Deltek Vision in the Vision Performance Management module. As we launch into the Tableau app, it brings me into my favorite dashboards. And I have a number of different personas represented inside of my favorites here, and we're going to click on a couple of them. While we do that, I want to talk about the use cases and the functionality behind those dashboards, because this information is going to empower those people who are out at the client sites or meeting with prospective clients as to what is going on in the office or back in the office they need to be aware of. How can they quickly identify a problem? And the biggest idea behind big data or business intelligence or dashboarding is the recognition into the data, recognition into a problem, or the recognition of perhaps something going well inside of their portfolio. So let's start really in the front office world, where we start to think about the world of business development. So the use case here is I'm a person who probably wears two hats. I'm project manager by day, business developer by night. And I'm going out into our communities and to where our clients are to have a better understanding of how can we drum up more business with them, but also how can I go ahead and ensure that the business we are doing for clients in certain geographies is going well. So when we look at the map of the United States, all the circles actually represent where we're doing work and where clients owe us money. So we see that we have some things going on in Massachusetts that we need to go ahead and probably be a little more proactive about. So as I hone in on Massachusetts, I can figure out, well, what and who owes us money with a couple clicks of a button. So as I come in and isolate on those certain dots, it's going to allow me to expose exactly who it is and where it is. So I need to go to the city of Marblehead because we have a client there that William Apple is the client executive around, and they owe us $277,000. If I'm going to go up to Massachusetts, well, perhaps I should also start in on some of the other areas like New York or the tri-state area to go ahead and collect on the monies that are owed to us in those regions as well. So what's great about this is as you interact with the graphic and as you interact with the dashboard, it can give you the visibility into what is pertinent and what is most relevant for you as you look at your portfolio that is scattered across the geographies you serve. Just below that, as we look at some of the top 10 information, well, this is actually telling you what firms produce the best for you. So it goes from worst to best. So at the very bottom, Atlantic Research Corporation is your best client. They produce the most revenue for you. Where if you want to look at it maybe from an inverse relationship or on really on the other side of the coin, well, show me the bottom 15 clients we have from a profitability perspective. So if I'm looking at how I need to improve my business and where do I need to improve my relationships, well, maybe we need to cut bait with Disney. We're not doing a ton of great work over there. And it looks like Biomed and the Cardiac Group, we need to go ahead and do some mending because the projects that we engage with them, they're not good for our business. And hopefully their experience is slightly different. But chances are the relationship is a bit fractured there if we're losing that much money. So the nice thing about this is as we focus and as we hone in, you can have dashboards that are very specific to what is critically important and what do you need to go ahead and pay attention to. As we go over to the right-hand side of this particular view, this view is going to give me visibility into what are my folks doing. So I'm actually most concerned about, this current quarter. I want to look at who is actually producing proposals. So it looks like Clinton Webb here in Q2 2016 has created 3 proposals. Fantastic. But Craig Alvarez, Dale Earnhardt, Daniel Craig, Darren Potter, none of these folks are doing anything in this quarter so far. So I need to make sure that these people are making their touches, they're creating their proposals, they're generating business to help feed that future pipeline. So that's just one view and a couple analytics that we can give you from a front office perspective, from a business development world. Let's think about it from a resource manager, kind of that middle office worker, where he or she then needs to have a better understanding of what are the people inside of the portfolio or the office that they manage. What are they doing? And how utilized are they? So upper left-hand corner, cost versus revenue, I'm able to determine quick, fast, and easy, what are my associates doing? So as I click on the associates, it's going to tell me that these associates have yielded almost $608,000, crowns, pounds, whatever it is, um, in realization or revenue, where they've only costed the business 428. So those people are making it. They're doing good things for the business. Where if you go ahead and change the view a little bit and you hone in on, say, the senior directors aren't cutting it. In fact, the senior directors are actually costing the business money. So as we click on the senior director, we'll see that they've only generated about 37,000 in revenue. Hold on, let me click on that again. They've only generated about 37,000 in revenue, and they cost the business almost 61,000. So quick, fast, and easy, I'm able to figure out the camps and the groups that I'm then responsible for. How well those folks then performing? Just below, I'm managing 4 different offices: Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco. And I can figure out what type of work is yielding the most amount of demand on that resource pool. I can see in Dallas, it's management work. When I see in Chicago, it's also management work. When I look in Los Angeles, it's consulting work. So I can figure out what types of work and what types of people are going to be the most engaged and most in demand when I look at it from an office by office perspective. And then if I really want to go ahead and start looking at individual performance, well, that's what I'm able to see here. I'm able to see, as I go ahead and expand on this a little bit, I'm able to go ahead and see how every part is performing from a revenue perspective, what their target was, what their utilization is from a direct hours perspective, and are they over or under? And you'll see the color coding is actually representing everybody who's actually in the red. That's an issue. I need to go ahead and focus in on that. And the beauty of this is the data is interactive. So if I click on that low to high or high to low view, maybe I want to see it: best people at the top, worst people at the bottom. The Brady brothers, they're performing the best. So again, as a project manager, as a resource manager, I'm able to go ahead and figure out what needs my attention and perhaps what doesn't as I interact with this dashboard. Let's change personas again. I want to go ahead and look at some projection information. So I'm now looking at my data in a more strategic mindset. I want to go ahead and look at what is the business going to be doing in future periods. And I want to get a better understanding of not necessarily where we've been, but where are we going. So upper right hand corner, it's going to give me cash flow projections. I'm able to see across a variety of months looking into the future, where is my cash coming from and what is it projected to be. Just below it, I can see what revenue is projected. So it looks like right now in June 2016, going into July 2016, we're at our peak. All the offices are contributing. As I click on the green amount, that's actually going to tell me exactly what is going on in Los Angeles. So as I hover over the bubble, it's going to tell me exactly and specifically what the office of Los Angeles is doing for me. Let me just pull that over. And what kind of revenue do we have planned for Los Angeles in that given time frame? So it's all about visibility and transparency into how's the business performing as a whole. And this is going to give me, again, a line graph into what have we planned for labor billing versus what is the opportunity revenue suggesting it's going to be. And what's powerful about this is I have sorts and filters all on the fly. So if I want to go ahead and start excluding certain companies from these views, it's allowing me to do so on the fly to get a different view and a different perspective into that dashboard based upon what I've then selected or perhaps deselected. So let's change the persona again. Let's take it really from a different perspective. Maybe I'm a person who's responsible for collections. So as that accountant and as that maybe even the CFO, I need to go ahead and make sure and be mindful of anything that's going over 90 days past due starts to get a little riskier from a collection or a collectability perspective. So what it's going to give me visibility into right away is what clients have DSO greater than 60. So here are all my problem clients. And here's the outstanding AR associated to those people. I have my worst client owing me $184,000, when it comes to payment. If I want to see where that AR is being broken out, as I hover and as I click, it's going to tell me exactly what's going on there, and it's going to show me where and what is going on. Los Angeles has almost $2.1 million outstanding, over 190 days old. As I click on here, I'm going to be able to go ahead and see the AR grid by client. So Xe.com is a client, Atlantic Research Corporation as a client. These are the monies that they owe us. And then if I want to figure out who inside of my business from our owning project manager has the biggest problem, all right here. And as I click on each individual color, it's going to give me visibility into what is that engagement that we're doing, how much is owed to us, and what is their typical DSO. Now again, these dashboards can really be whatever you want, and they have the ability to get filtered on the fly. So if right now I'm only looking at everything, I'm looking at everything in the entire business, but if I wanted to isolate and say, well, show me what it looks like in Chicago, I now have a different perspective into exactly what happens in the Chicago office as it relates to this data. So it's going to change, it's going to augment, it's going to refresh instantly as you start making selections across the different filters and sorts. So these are just a couple things that empower your users, no matter what kind of users they are, to be connected to their data, to have information at their fingertips, and be able to be reactive across the things that we measure and present back to them inside of dashboards. There's one more tool that allows you to make this information interactive, and you can even play with it. So let me share with you another app. This app is called Visible, and the idea is it takes a data feed. You upload an Excel worksheet here, and you then have the ability to then manipulate that information however you see fit, based upon the information that was then uploaded off of that Excel spreadsheet. So right now I'm looking at build, but I want to see other information. So I click on build and I see that I also brought in unbilled data. Well, and now I'm going to go ahead and look at it from an unbilled perspective. Or maybe I want to go ahead and look at it from backlog. Or maybe I actually want to go ahead and have all of these things. So I start clicking on the plus here, and it starts to build out a fairly interactive grouping of project metrics that I can then interact with. So if I don't want to go ahead and see this one, I can go ahead and take it out. Maybe this HVAC project's not really worth it, all the detail. So what's nice about it is you have the ability to interact with this really on the fly to give you visibility into the metrics that are then critically important to you. And then you have the ability to, say, sort and group this information up or down. You have the ability to take this information and perhaps add in another filter around, say, who the project manager is. So this is just another way that we're presenting your vision data into a mobile device for you to interact with it and then be mindful of what's going on in your portfolio so you can be reactive. If you have any more questions around how vision performance management works, how vision performance management enables you to have mobile dashboards, feel free to reach out to your project manager. Feel free to reach out to your account manager, and they'll be happy to connect you to some people and some experts at Deltek that can show you and give you more insight to these tools. Thank you very much.